Welcome back to another episode of the FitBod Blueprint. Phil and Tyler here as always. Tyler, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. I mean, I mentioned it just right before we hit the up or the record button, but looking for a new fridge all of a sudden. Gotta love those things where all of a sudden we're going, the things in our freezer are not frozen anymore. That's an issue. So now we're looking for a new fridge, but it's all good. How about you?
Hopefully it's just something easy, like maybe your coils just need to be cleaned or something on the fridge.
I mean, it's a 16-year-old fridge. You know, even the fridge part isn't getting cold enough. So, you know, it's probably one of those things where it's just time for a new one. So we're doing that.
My inner Tim the Tool Man Taylor always kicks in with any type of an appliance repair. I will do my best to try to fix it, and yeah, I get it. Like fridges anymore, like almost anything else, like electronics wise, they just don't make them like they used to. So
I know. Like, thankfully, we do have like a fridge and freezer in our garage, and like the fridge in our garage is probably like 25 years old, running like a champ. I'm like,
yep.
What the heck?
Yep. Got to have the garage fridge, man. It's so clutch. So,
yep.
No, doing really well. Ellie actually has art in a art show at the museum in Nashville, so we're gonna go check that out. But yeah, everything is going well. Good. So this week, what we want to talk about is something that we're in the Facebook group. We are reviewing 2 chapters at a time each Friday, and the group is free to join. We're reviewing the book Atomic Habits, and this is my number one book recommendation for people that are just simply always on the struggle bus whenever it comes to health and fitness goals, their financial goals, trying to learn a new skill, like, hey, I want to learn how to play the guitar, or I want to learn a new language. Atomic Habits is the one that I will always recommend. Read this book because it makes you do an evaluation. It makes you do just an honest assessment, an audit, if you will, of what does your time really look like. There's so much great insight in this book. And whenever I realized we're actually coming to one of my favorite chapters in the book to review, and it's the 2-minute rule. So the 2-minute rule, and the author is James Clear, in case anybody wants to purchase this book, highly recommend it. Basically what the 2-minute rule is when you start a new habit, make it so easy that it takes less than 2 minutes to do it. Because often just simply starting is the hardest part of building a habit. So it can seem so small that it's like, why am I going to do this for 2 minutes? But it's the fact that it gets you up to speed. It gets you into a routine of this is the new signal for this habit that I want to start. So example, if you want to read more, don't try to read an entire chapter. Just read one page. It should take you about 2 minutes to read a page in a book. I mean, if you're a fast reader like my wife, you're probably going to get like 2 pages done.
Yeah.
But you want to start exercising. Start by just simply, hey, I'm going to put on my workout clothes. If you want to write a book, just write one sentence at a time. Like that's even something that James mentions in the book is if you want to start journaling, just journal one sentence to describe your day. And that starts to build that habit. And now it starts to become a part of your routine.
Don't be like Stephen King and just do a bunch of cocaine and just write 100 books in a year.
Stephen King is an interesting cat, to say the least. Yeah. So, look, the point of the 2-minute habit isn't to achieve the end goal right away. It's to master the art of showing up. And once you've got it started, it's easy to keep it going. Like, how many times have you decided to start something but found that, like, hey, it wasn't so bad once you get going? And that's the power of the 2-minute rule. Like, hey, if I want to read a book, or if I say, hey, it's just part of my habits, I'm going to read this book, generally after about 2 minutes, I've probably gotten hooked on something. And there are going to be days where you're not hooked on it, but there's at least the progress that gets made on those days.
Yeah, and I think like you kind of mentioned, it might seem silly, right? Oh, 2 minutes. You know, it almost seems like, well, what's the point? But again, like you mentioned, it's really about getting past that initial hurdle of getting started. And I mean, it can even be beyond a 2-minute thing where, hey, maybe you have like a project that, you just have to get done, whether it's work or school or what have you. Man, you kind of get past that initial 2 to 5 minutes. Before you know it, maybe 30 minutes has passed. It's like, oh, wow, like I kind of just got into that groove. But when it is something maybe like this bigger habit that we are trying to establish, whatever it might be, just having that little trigger where you just are doing that 2 minutes. And, he talks about it in his book of just getting that 1% better, and it's going to compound over time. And a lot of times, we'll see it where it will come from a coaching perspective of, I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to work out 6 times a week. I want to do this. I want to do that. And a lot of the time, that's going to be very unsustainable for a lot of people. And they're going to burn out quickly because, one, that is just a lot. But two, that is not their life. That is not their habits. That is, something that they are just not used to. And so from a psychological perspective, it's going to be just completely overwhelming, and we're going to give up. Like that is studied and researched. Like if we do too much at once and not build into it, our rate of success just plummets. It might seem silly, but what we're really focusing on, and I know you and I focus on a lot with our clients, is this process of, okay, if we can do these little things and really build into it, the question of, are we actually going to reach our goal is almost null and void in the sense of, well, yeah, like we just are, because of the things that we're doing in this process. And so to make it as easy on ourselves as possible is the route we actually want to go. We don't necessarily want to be a martyr of suffering for our goal, in a sense, right? Where it's like if we can implement whatever that, a 2-minute rule, or 3 days out of this week, I want you to get your veggies in, or something like that, that's going to start to compound and build on itself. Because once something has become a habit and ingrained, we do it unconsciously at that point. And so then we've reached this level where, okay, now we can introduce the next. Now I want to do 5 days out of the week on your veggie intake. And okay, now we're a little uncomfortable again, becomes normal again. Now we create a new little uncomfortable zone. So initially, yeah, it might seem pointless, but when we look at it from that long-term viewpoint, which we have trouble doing, we start to see how rapidly, it can grow. Like so many people, exactly. They're like, well, how long is it going to take to reach X goal? And I'll go, hey, you know what? Like, let's focus on 1 year. And someone goes, oh my goodness, a year. I'm like, think back on your life. How fast does a year go, right? Like, how quickly, and you can imagine how much we can do in a year. Like, you can completely change your physique in just 1 year that you would never imagine. It might seem like a long time, but what we're actually able to accomplish in that time is amazing, and it goes by very, very fast.
It does. And the perspective of time, like, believe me, we could go down this rabbit hole very deeply. I always point out to people, a year from now feels like forever, but a year ago feels like it was just yesterday.
You got to think about it.
You're going to reach that point of, hey, you're going to blink, and a year's going to have passed, and you're going to go, I wish I could go back to, 35. I wish I could go back to 40. I wish I could go back to 42. Like, you're going to go, man, I would give anything to go back and just have started a small habit 1 year ago. And, people will hear this and go, well, how can 2 minutes of effort make a difference? But it's about that momentum. It's about how small actions compound over time. And they may seem insignificant in the moment, but it's the ripple effect. It's the butterfly effect. So, imagine a rocket launching into space, right? Most of the fuel is used just to get it off of the ground. And then once it's in orbit, it's far less energy to keep going. And that's what the 2-minute rule does, is it gets you off the ground. Or, how small habits can just reinforce your self-identity. So when you read one page, you're not just reading, you're becoming a reader. When you put on your gym clothes and go work out. You're not just somebody who says, oh, well, I want to do this. Like, no, you're now someone who prioritizes fitness. You're someone who prioritizes your health. So it may seem like a really small action, but it's what's going to get you off the ground. It's what's going to start getting some traction going for whatever your habit is. And assuming that you're listening to this, it's health and fitness related. But you can apply this across any area of your life. Like pretty much I know all of my bank accounts, they have buckets now. And just taking that time to take 2 minutes to go, hey, I want to save 10% of all the money that comes in. So it's now automatically going into the bucket. This is making it so that now you have a lower, like if your goal is you want to save money, right? Well, if you have a bucket, that's an automatic rule that you don't have to do anything after you do that one-time setup that it takes 2 minutes. It starts building it. And like, hey, 10% may not seem like much. And after after one check being deposited, it's not a lot. After two, it's probably still not a lot. I mean, great for you if it is. But whenever you get a year down the road and you go, wait a minute, holy smokes, like let's say somebody makes $60,000 a year. Well, if you started this a year ago, you'd have $6,000 sitting in your bucket. How different could your life be with $6,000? Similar if you say, hey, I'm going to take 2 minutes on Sunday to plan out what am I doing for breakfast, morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack. If you did that, you just take 2 minutes to plan it out on Sunday, and you do that every week for a year. We're talking about 52 times. That's 104 minutes out of the entire year. It's less than 2 hours.
Yeah, and I mean, you can do that watching TV, just sitting on the couch. Like that's what we do. Like we'll be sitting there watching a little bit of TV, maybe, in the evening, and it's on your phone. We have like a shared notes. It's dinner ideas for the week, and it's a grocery list, and it's just boom, boom, boom. All right, here we go. This is what we know we're doing. And like, it doesn't have to be this big thing. Like it is that simple of just sitting. You're already on your phone. You're already sitting on the couch watching TV. Take that couple of minutes, right? And like nowadays, like, going through TikTok, Instagram, like that's where a lot of times we are getting our meal ideas. Like there are so many great influencers out there that are actually providing like great meals, like that are calorie friendly, that taste good. Like it's very, very easy.
Yeah, it's a super low barrier of entry now. And again, old man status, right? Like I've been doing flexible dieting since 2005, long before the first smartphone came out. Believe me, it is a lot easier now than what it was 20 years ago. It is so much easier.
10 years ago.
Like 20 years ago, it was literally like, okay, I'm doing cereal with a protein shake, and there's my breakfast before jetting off to school. All right, my lunch is just a super basic, like it was very bro.
Yeah.
But it was how things worked. And that was still at the time a lot easier than having to, worry about any other methods or like, low carb, keto, Atkins, South Beach, but I always tell people, again, it is so much easier and quicker now because back then I had to fire up my desktop computer, okay? I had to get Excel to load. I had to go through my database, which I still have a rough version of this spreadsheet even all these years later, but I had to go through the database and just, okay, now walk into the kitchen, right? What's in the house this week? How can I plan this out? Move this, move that. Like it used to take me a good 20 minutes to plan out the week, and now it's a 10th of that time. So start with this. Identify the habit that you want to build and just ask yourself, what is your goal? Break it down into the smallest step possible that takes 2 minutes or less. Like he talks about early on in this chapter, a woman that she was a MacArthur Grant recipient, which is basically, hey, you're a genius, so here's a crap ton of money to go be your genius self.
Yeah.
But what she credits making fitness a part of her routine for is calling the cab. every day at 5 a.m. She lives in New York City. Every day, 5 a.m., has a cab to pick her up. It takes 2 minutes to call a cab and to go outside and to get in the cab. That's it. She credits all of her success for committing to spending 2 hours a day in the gym to she calls a cab. Now, I'm not saying that you need to spend 2 hours a day in the gym. In fact, most of our clients are spending maybe collectively 4 hours per week. Like,
Yeah.
that's like counting cardio as well. So start with just identifying what is the habit that's going to take you less than 2 minutes. Maybe it's putting on your gym clothes. Maybe it's calling a cab or calling an Uber to go to the gym. Maybe it's, hey, I'm going to fire up my playlist. I'm going to sync my headphones. I'm going to put an earbud in and I'm going to start going to the gym, or I'm going to go out to the garage and get in a workout. But whatever that is, make it ridiculously easy. And then just focus on showing up. Don't worry about being perfect. Just show up. If you start your workout and you get 5 minutes into it and you go, you know what, I'm good, I'm just not feeling it today, then you still completed the habit of go to the gym.
Yeah.
If you get 5 minutes into your meal prep and you go, man, I'm dog tired, cool. Set a timer, set an alarm on your stove, on your microwave, go sit down. It's okay. You can come back to meal prepping. Come back to it. If you've already started cooking your food, the timer will go off. You've probably got 20 minutes.
Have to, yeah.
You're going to get back into it and you're going to commit another 2 minutes. Again, like, hey, small little habits. If you want to eat healthier, try putting fruit more visible. Maybe you've got bananas or apples on the counter, or you put your strawberries front and center or in the door of the fridge so that you start eating more berries. So start small.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing.
Yeah, and, maybe just to expand on that a little bit is, something he also talks a lot about is your environment. And, I think it kind of goes hand in hand here in what you mentioned of having things more visible. That's going to be part of it. Have your fruits and veggies more visible. Put the snacks further back in the cupboard or further back in the fridge. Have those things right in front of you. If you want to read a book, have it while you eat. Like, that's something that I've done in the past where, hey, if I'm having my lunch, I've got my book, and that's where I'm doing 10 minutes, 15 minutes of reading. Like, find those little spaces too where, you can almost, and he does again talk about this, some habit stacking where it's like, hey, I'm eating my lunch and I'm, reading my favorite book. Maybe, that then coincides with, hey, my favorite book and eating a little bit healthier, right? So, also just paying attention to your environment and having it set up. I mean, we're creatures of habit. Right? It's so true. And so the more you can kind of start creating these little habits and maybe at certain times in your day, guess what? Again, it's going to become unconscious and it's almost going to be like, oh, it's, X time to go do this, right? And, I think it's important to note that, like, that friction maybe never necessarily goes away. Like, I know you and I, like, we've both been working out collectively for 30 years, and there are still days where it's like, I don't really feel like going. Yeah. But because it's such a part of my identity now, it's the briefest of thoughts. And then it's just, well, I just go. Like, because that's just what I do, right? And so it's not to say that it ever goes away, but it just becomes easier and easier over time to say yes. What was that movie? Yes Man. Right, with Jim Carrey. Was it Jim Carrey? Yeah, right. Yes, and so you just start to say yes, like, it just becomes so much easier. And hey, maybe you do get into a habit. Whether, hey, I thought I wanted to play guitar, and you just, you know what, it never happened. Hey, maybe I actually just didn't want to, and that's fine as well, right? And I mean, even coming back to the workout thing too, is like, I still have days where I get into the gym, 10, 15 minutes in, I'm like, you know what? I just don't have it today, and I go home, and that's fine. Like, there, so it's still having a lot of with yourself, but focusing on that process and focusing on that consistency and being honest with yourself as well.
Right, and that's exactly the next topic I wanted to bring up, is kind of the elephant in the room of sticking with it. So even with the 2-minute rule, you might sometimes feel a little impatient and just think like, it's not enough to make a difference, or it's okay if I skip it today. But the hardest part about any habit is just starting. And that's the purpose of this 2-minute rule. One way to stay consistent is, like Tyler said, habit step. Whatever the new habit that you're trying to implement is, tie it to something that you already do. Just like Tyler said, hey, he wants to start reading more, read a book on his lunch break. Hey, if somebody wants to start stretching, do 2 minutes of stretching after you've brushed your teeth in the morning.
And set a timer. Set a 2-minute timer. You will be surprised, like, how fast that goes. Like, you go, oh, that was only 2 minutes, and like, maybe you're like, you know what? I actually could have done more. Like, I could have done 5 minutes, and boom, we're already making that progress.
Right. Like, one of the examples that James gives in this chapter is how he knew a guy that lost 120 pounds over the course of 2 years by starting small with, hey, I'm just going to go to the gym for 5 minutes, 5 days a week. And after a couple of weeks, the mentality was, well, I'm already here every day. I might as well just dedicate a little bit more time to this. And boom, there it was. And that habit, that 2-minute habit turned into a 5-minute habit, turned into a 30-minute, hour-long, whatever it was. So another strategy for making the 2-minute habit, the 2-minute rule stick, is to reward yourself. So even if it's just for 2 minutes over time, like, your brain's going to eventually start to recognize it and associate the habit with a sense of accomplishment. So it might be a matter of, okay, your usual routine looks like this. Wake up, turn off your alarm, make your bed, go pee, brush your teeth, get dressed, go get coffee. Well, what you could do is interrupt that current routine and, okay, brush my teeth, get dressed, stop, 2 minutes of stretching. And now your reward for stretching becomes you get coffee.
Yeah.
There you go. You now have a new habit chain. You now implemented 2 minutes into that now you're feeling better about yourself. I always challenge people, like, look, if you want to just immediately feel better, do 2 minutes of stretching while you're taking a little bit of a mental break at work. Tell me you don't feel refreshed. Tell me you don't feel a little bit better.
Do some push-ups. Do some from a physiological perspective, getting that heart rate going a little bit, getting some more blood flow to the brain, it's going to perk you up. You're going to be a little bit more mentally focused. Like, so you're getting a little activity in, plus you're now setting yourself up maybe for that next hour or so of work, and you're going to just be a little bit more focused, right? And so it's not just those small little things. Like, there's so many little benefits that we can achieve with some of these small habit changes, as silly as it might feel.
All right. Well, that is what I've got written down here in my notes for today. Tyler, is there anything else you would like to add on?
I would say, in kind of the same vein of just 2 minutes, maybe don't pick 10, 15 habits right away. Maybe pick
start with 1,
2 or 3, or break it up. Okay, 2 fitness habits, 2 like life habits, right? I want to start painting, or I want to start the guitar. Like, start also off small with how many habits that you are introducing, right? I think those definitely go hand in hand.
Right. I generally recommend 1 to 2 at a time. Pick one fitness habit, pick one that's more like personal. So that way it's not like, okay, well, my entire identity is now shifting towards like, being a gym rat or anything, but you're a healthier individual and you're rounding yourself out, you're keeping yourself well balanced by also pursuing 2 minutes of another habit. And if we think about 4 minutes per day, you've got 4 minutes. And if you don't, here's a little bonus tip from what James wrote in this chapter. He mentions that he increases productivity whenever it came to hey, just trying to get stuff done. And he realized, like, man, spending a lot of time on social media, and it's quick to just go, oh, well, 1 more minute of just scrolling Instagram, but there's no end to that. Or like with Netflix or Hulu, like, there is no, you don't have to do anything for the next episode to play. They did that on purpose because they know if you have to take action, you're going to eventually hit a stop button.
Yeah.
So what he did was he said, hey, he worked with a friend. to say, look, what I want you to do is change my password for my social medias and do not tell me what it is until Friday whenever work is done. Whenever work is done, hey, here's your passwords. And then come Monday, it was, all right, time to set new passwords for the week. So that way, Monday through Friday, like, hey, there's no Instagram, no Facebook, no anything. Well, now suddenly you got a whole bunch of time back, even if it's just little segments of 2 minutes there, 5 minutes here, whatever. You now just got all this time back. So
it's amazing how much time you gain by getting off your phone.
Oh, yeah.
I've gone through some spurts of that, and I still don't spend a whole lot of time on my phone. But, like, I've gone through spurts where, like, I do put it in a different room as soon as, like, Quinn's home from daycare or whatever. And it is amazing. One, the brain, I'm like, where's my phone? That initially you have to get over. And then two, how much time you truly do gain from it. It's insane.
If anyone's never gone through and looked, like pretty much any smartphone made in the last 10 years will have this feature where you can actually look at your app usage, and it'll break down and show you like day by day how much time are you spending on a given app. And if you're anything like me, it's going to kind of piss you off a little bit. That's like, I could be doing so much more with my life. I complain about being busy or not having time, but how's it that I'm spending an hour on Facebook a day? Like, ask yourself, would you actively sit down in front of the computer and scroll a Facebook feed on a laptop or a desktop, if you're 2005, Phil, but would you ever actively scroll that for an hour? No. Would you ever actively pull up Instagram.com on your laptop instead of your app on your phone and just scroll for an hour? Yeah. No, at least I hope not.
Yeah.
So,
and hey, for us, born from maybe, 95 and back, we survived without it for a very long time. So we can do it.
Yes, we can. All right. So my random question for you this week. Would you rather have to sing every time you speak, or you can only move by dancing?
Would I be good at singing?
You have your current skill level at both singing and dancing.
Oh God, neither. I think I would go with dancing then, because it's kind of funny, right? Like, it would at least look interesting, but I think I would almost stop talking if I had to sing every time.
You're like doing a spin and a twirl just to go like to the fridge and get out like a Coke Zero or something.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already do that a little bit, right? Like, I'm not like taking choppy steps. I'm usually just flowing through the kitchen, like, so I kind of already do it a little bit.
Nice.
And I'm a hockey player. Like, we kind of dance on the ice anyway, so it coincides.
Yeah, you just have knives attached to your feet.
That's the only difference.
That's all. You just have knives on your feet. Oh man,
I've never taken my skate off to stab someone.
Allegedly.
Erroneous on all counts.
It's my best legal advice. Your response is always allegedly. I think I would have to pick sing, just because I know I'm such a terrible singer. I want to share that curse with the world.
You're an evil, evil man, Phil.
I am indeed. All right. As always, thank you very much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a review, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
See ya.